Hello everyone. Today I am going to do a video that's not really as edited or scripted as a lot of my other videos, and the reason for that is this video exists to check a box that needs to be checked before I release the match results for June of 2023, which is the first round of results that I have opened this tournament up to the public. And because the results are posted on the website, I want to make sure that people understand how to read the website. So this video will also continue to exist to help people in further months. And I made an attempt at recording this already, and it was a little long, and it was a little bit too math nerdy. So I'm making a reattempt here at recording it in as digestible a format as possible. But if you are interested in understanding some of the underlying mechanisms a little more, I'd be happy to connect with people one-off to kind of share what that looks like. But let's quickly go over what you're going to see as a player who participated and what you can glean from the website in terms of how you perform. So let's start by going to player profiles. So on the player profiles page, on the left-hand side, you have your overall performance in terms of wins, ties, and losses. So the donut chart here in blue, you have wins, you have losses, and then you have ties. And it tells you what percent of your games were each type of outcome. And then in the center, you have your score. And your score is a value that is calculated from the number of wins, ties, and losses you had. Where a win is worth 1 point, a tie is worth half a point, and a loss is worth 0 points. And your percent score is your sum of the score divided by the total number of games you've participated in. Which, for some of you who are more familiar with other 3-card blind tournaments, this might sound different than what you have done historically. And there is a reason for that. I am trying to make this format more established and better thought out. And there's a lot of reasons why I have chosen this scoring system. And rather than get into the nitty-gritty, because that's part of what took so much time, let's start by just saying that having a zero-sum game allows you to implement an ELO system, a proper ranking system, which is one of the goals of having this website, is to see how players perform over time relative to other players using a system that measures predicted skill level. So I'm not going to go into the math behind ELO. That's something that you can look up. There's a lot of great articles online, but to try to give you the quickest form possible, ELO is a number that predicts the odds of a player winning a game relative to another player based off of the difference between their two ELO scores. So if you have two players that are at 1500 ELO, they are both predicted to have an equal odds of winning the game. However, if you have a player at 1500 ELO and a player at 1700 ELO, the algorithm is going to predict that the 1700 ELO player has a greater chance of winning the game based off of that player's previous performance, their performance history. And again, we're going to skip the math here. But just so you know how to read it, every blue diamond represents a game, or I should say a set of games played. So you can see Orabesh X here participated in every month where there's that little blue diamond. And in between the diamonds, there's a line. The line represents your ELO after the games have been played. The blue diamond represents your ELO before the games have been played, which is also why there is this initial jump. So in August, Orabesh X starts at 1500 ELO. And based off of Orabesh X's performance, jumps up to here, which is 1564 ELO, and so on. So your profile is going to look a little different. Your profile will look a little more like Cam's, who's only participated in 1 month. There's no line yet. You have your starting ELO, and then you have where you ended up. That's really all you're going to see for now. The last thing I want to mention on this page is that there is this decay penalty. That won't affect you as a new player. However, if you choose to not participate, every month that you consecutively choose not to participate beyond the first will add a penalty of 100 to your elo. This number is admittedly not updated because we haven't updated the formula to match what is reflected in the Excel sheet, but that's what's going on there. And if you do get a decay penalty, there's no problem there. You can get all of your decay penalty added back to your score just by participating in 1 month. And the whole point of this is to make sure that a player doesn't camp the #1 spot on the leaderboard by having a inflated elo and then refusing to participate, that this decay penalty encourages players to participate. So that's the player profiles wrapped up. Let's quickly go to the leaderboards. And the leaderboard page really has 2 sections. There's this lifetime leaderboard. The lifetime leaderboard uses elo, specifically adjusted elo, which means that it includes the decay penalty if you have one. This is, again, lifetime performance based off of how you've performed relative to other players through time. And on the other side, you have the monthly leaderboard, which is elo agnostic. That regardless of what your elo is, you will get a score based off of how you did in that specific month. And again, that is the sum of your wins plus the sum of your ties, which are only worth half as much, and then your losses are worth nothing, over the total number of games you've played. So monthly leaderboard, lifetime leaderboard, they tell you different things. They are both important. You can also filter. See, you can filter to different months, you can filter to different players, and so on. So that wraps up our leaderboards. The last important thing we need to cover is this match history tab. The match history tab is not something that I expect people to want to use. I also think I'd like to encourage that people, for the most part, don't really need to use it. But it exists because I am human. And I am capable of errors. That the match results, I have put a great deal of thought and time into making sure that those are calculated correctly. But because I do type these into an Excel sheet that feeds into the website, I am capable of making typos, if nothing else. And I can make mistakes. For that reason, I want people to be able to go look at their match results at an individual level. So you can pick your username, and you can pick whichever month that you want to look at. And you can see your username, opponent's usernames, followed by your deck list, your opponent's deck list, and then it splits into a more granular row where you can see what was the outcome if you went first, and you can see result, and what was the outcome if you went second, and you can see the result. So how we read this is Orabesh versus Cadenas. Orabesh played Black Lotus, Oko, Sand Silos. Cadenas played Chancellor Annex, Strip Mine, The Rack. And the result was when Orabesh went first, it's a tie. When Orabesh went second, it is a tie. So that's how you read that. And the purpose of this is so that if you are surprised by your match outcomes, like if you go to your player profile and you think, wait, this doesn't look right to me, this is where you go look to check that things are in order. You can also see your elo change on a per match basis, that again, the amount your elo changes is going to be dependent on the difference between your elo score and your opponent's elo score, as well as the actual result of the game. So you can see here that Orabesh had a higher elo than Cadenas, which actually makes this tie negative change in elo. But again, I want to make sure that we don't get too mathy here and keep the video short, so we're not going to go too much into the math behind the elo stuff, but just to give a quick update here, when I put in the new results, some of those numbers are going to look very different. And the reason for that is I'm adjusting the formula to account for the fact that there's a much larger number of players. But beyond that first change, there should be no future changes. So everything is going to be pretty consistent. Okay, so the last thing is, let's say you go into your match history tab and you say, this looks wrong, and you find a specific match that you think is wrong. How do you report that? I have created a Discord channel, and that Discord channel, which I will put a link to in the description of this video, you are all invited to join. You can talk about match results, you can talk about 3-card blind, whatever you'd like, but there is a channel called Match Result Help, which is specifically a forum channel, which is a new feature of Discord, where you can post the specific matchup. So you can write down your deck and your opponent's deck, and you can ask for help. And I will do my best to look at all of those. And also, because we now have a community of people, the community can also look at your request for match result help, and maybe they will be able to either convince me that I'm wrong, because that can be possible, or they might be able to assist me in explaining why the match result is listed the way it is. Okay, that wraps it up. I apologize for the lengthy and kind of technical video here, but I feel like it was necessary before I put those match results up. And you can expect to see those hopefully within the next 48 hours, I want to say. Everything's ready, but I just want to make sure that it feeds into the website correctly, that we don't accidentally break the whole system. Okay, and maybe you found this enjoyable. Feel free to ask me any questions in the YouTube comments, and remember to join the Discord. And again, looking forward to hearing from all of you in the near future. See you around.